All right, so something cool here is with Bob James of Silent Theory. How you doing, man?
Good, good. Thank you for having me.
So you guys been blowing up the past couple of years. What do you think caused the success to come? I mean, 120 million views on YouTube alone is, pretty big deal.
I think it's just a lot of hard work and a lot of years of just grinding it out. I mean, we definitely have been able and been fortunate to start working with some people that have, helped make open some doors and stuff for us. So I mean, we've been working as a band under the name of Silent Theory since roughly 2010. But handful of years ago, we started working with Paul Crosby, who's managing us, original founding member of the band Saliva, and he's helped us kind of open a few doors, and then we started working with 1RPM for distribution, and so they're kind of acting in somewhat of a label capacity for us, and so we just got a bunch of really great people helping us kind of get to these next steps. And then, Vinny and his team over at Octane have really just definitely helped with the continuation of pushing that music to a bigger audience.
Now, how does that you work on YouTube? I know how YouTube works, but I'm saying is who gets the money? I mean, 120 million views, that's got to be what, $300,000, something like that?
It's definitely a pretty decent revenue income, that is for sure. So we for a long time we were partnered with a different company for distribution through YouTube, and we got some pretty decent cuts off of that. When we partnered with 1RPM, they've taken over our distribution, so like they get their cut out of that, and then we get a good chunk of that. But yeah, YouTube is definitely still a great platform in the world of streaming and everything like that. Like visual media still definitely pays a pretty good amount of money for up and coming artists.
But you got to keep in mind there's no more MTV. I mean,
True. Well,
I,
no music on
yeah,
music
I was gonna
TV.
say I think they show like fucking ridiculousness 10 different ways, you know what I mean? Maybe a Jersey Shore reunion every now and then, but yeah, man, I mean for people, YouTube's where it's at to get your videos nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely opened my eyes a little bit because there's a small part of me that for a long time was like, how are these people affording to live their lives by just doing YouTube videos? And then the more and more successful our videos got on YouTube and stuff, it's like, oh, I can kind of see it now. There's like, if you're doing the right kind of content, you're doing it often enough, like you could make a living off of posting videos, but it does really rely on people actually like tuning in and watching the videos though.
Newest video you just put out is Burn It All Down, is that right?
Uh, no, we released Emptiness and You a couple weeks ago. Um, but yeah, Burn It All Down is not far behind. So we got a new album coming out called Tell Us How It Ends, and that's getting released on September 13th. And so we're kind of doing a little bit of a run up to that, releasing a couple singles to promote it a little bit.
Your album comes out in September. You got the three singles out now. Do you plan on doing another one before the album comes out? I mean, what are we, June now, right?
Yeah, I believe we do have at least one more single that we're planning on releasing. Probably in the next month or so. But yeah, it's a song called "Made Me This Way," and I'm pretty excited to release it because people who like Silent Theory, I think will still like this song and especially this album. But I will say this new album is definitely the heaviest album that we've ever recorded. So all the songs still have like all the trademark things that people love about Silent Theory, but I think the lyrics are a little more aggressive. The songs are definitely a little bit heavier. And Made Me This Way is definitely one of the heaviest songs I think to date that we will have released, and really looking forward to seeing how people relate to that because it's one of those that I think some people will definitely grab a hold of and just like, yeah, you did make me this way. This fuck that, fuck you.
Now, is the way the music industry trend is, it's singles, 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 the way you're doing it right now. Do you think
Yeah.
going further that you're going to write a whole album all at once, or you think you might just do the single platform and then once you get enough, throw the album out that way?
Yeah, I mean, as a band, we are very much album guys. Like, I mean, granted, we're a little bit older than some of the bands that are on the scene right now, but like that's the way I like to listen to music. I like to hear what the artist has curated and put together. And like there's a lot of songs that like I'll listen to and then like on the radio, and as soon as that song ends, like I'll start singing the next song on the album because I know it comes next. And that's just kind of how I enjoy to listen to music. But the single market is definitely kind of taken over. And so there is a lot of bands that aren't doing albums anymore. They're just doing singles one after another. And we kind of did that for a little bit, and then we ended up grouping them into an EP. But we kind of came to an agreement with our distribution people and just like, we really feel like we want an album so we have something to promote like long term and something for people to look forward to rather than just like, hey, we got another single coming out probably in the future. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think it's an ever evolving process, but yeah, it is definitely a very single heavy world that we live in right now.
You know what it is? I don't think these kids today have like the attention span to keep something going, you know? I mean, back in the day, how old are you?
I turned 40 back in December, so
So then you remember like going to the store and buying CDs and stuff. I mean,
oh yeah,
Media Play was the big chain where I was, and I remember being a kid where it was like I didn't even give a shit what the album was. If it looked cool, I had money in my pocket. You know what I mean? You'd go and you'd buy it just because and have your
yeah,
collection all big. Now, I
yeah,
mean, kids these days, I don't even, I laugh. My kid's 13. I told him, you're gonna buy the album or whatever. He's like, what do you mean buy it? He goes, music's free, man.
yeah. It's pretty interesting. Everything's about the playlist. It's all what's on the Spotify playlist or whatever platform you listen to. Um, it's it's all about the singles and kind of like what's on that playlist. And yeah, I have very visceral memories of like splitting money with my friend to buy the the Dookie cassette by Green Day and stuff like that. And then like my first album that I bought with 100% of my own money was $3 Bills Y'all by Limp Bizkit and stuff like that. Like I have very strong memories of buying those albums and just playing the absolute shit out of them because it's just like, this is an experience. Like I put money and effort into getting this and now I'm gonna enjoy it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, even if it sucked, you played it because you spent money on it. You know what I mean? I remember when they first introduced the headphones where you could listen to the album in the store, like, or at least a few of
Oh
them.
yeah.
It was just like, what is this, the future? How are they doing this? And now it's, you click a button and you got the fucking whole catalog of somebody right there in front of you.
Yeah. Which I mean, it's not all bad, but it definitely has changed the landscape quite a bit.
I see you guys got a few tour dates. You guys are setting off what on the 22nd, right?
Yeah, yeah. So 22nd of June, we're starting in Seattle, then we're gonna do a short little West Coast run with the Skylit Drive. So it'll be fun. They're doing a anniversary tour. They're releasing some new music, but it's also like the 15th year anniversary, something like that, of one of their big hits. And so it'll be fun to be, part of that. But also we've done a decent amount of touring over the last few years, and most of it's been in the Midwest, just because that's how scheduling works out. So it'll be fun to hit the West Coast a little bit because that's ironically where we live and we have toured the least amount. Um, so yeah, it'll be nice to hit the road and hit some dates.
After that handful of gigs, do you have more stuff for the rest of the summer?
I know for sure we're playing Rockfest up in Cadeau, Wisconsin. And then I know we have a few things that we're working on. Nothing's that's ready to be like announced yet, but we're trying to get some stuff scheduled around the release of the album. So leading up to and after the release of the album there for, late summer, early fall.
I feel like touring's weird this year. I mean, I've been to a few shows and it's the turnout hasn't been what it should be anymore. I don't know if it's the price of tickets or the fact that there's a fucking 100 different shows going on all at once. But it's, I went to a concert on Saturday and it was a pretty big band. They played at a smaller venue. There's maybe a fucking 100 people there.
Oh wow.
One of the dudes that was there was Chris Jericho was there as
Oh geez.
as a fan. You know what I mean? So it was just like, damn. Not only you don't got nobody there, at least you got everyone's focused on fucking Jericho walking around.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely been pretty interesting. For obviously COVID set everything back, and then like for the first like probably 2 years or so after COVID, like everybody was kind of playing catch up because all those tours, well, a lot of those tours got postponed, and so it just kind of like pushed everything else out as far as booking goes. And yeah, I think we're finally starting to get caught up. But yeah, I think there's also a little bit of a knee jerk where it's like now that everybody's back in the mood, there's so many options available, which is kind of pillaging the individual shows and stuff.
Now, at the level where you're at, how does that affect you guys? I mean, do you have to make sure that you're teamed up with a few different names to go ahead and keep on going, or do you think you'd be able to go out as a headliner yourself?
Um, I think we probably could do a headlining run and play like some smaller clubs and things like that. Like especially if we pick in the right demographics and the right areas, like we try and be careful about that kind of stuff, but it definitely helps to be playing with, somebody else that, we can combine draws with. Um, and we've done some tours that like at face value are a little weird. Like we did a short run with Head PE a couple years ago. Musically, like not very similar. Like they're you know great band in their own right, but like not necessarily like where we are. But it was a really great run because they have a diehard following. And we had a lot of people that came out to see us, and so it was a good mixing. And so we're kind of hoping for the same thing with the Skylit Drive.
Do you have your full album recorded already? Is it all set, ready to go?
Yeah, we did. We have it all recorded. Finally got a full list of masters back and stuff like that. So we're ready to go on it.
So it's got to be pretty exciting and frustrating at the same time to have your album all ready, and then you got 3-4 months before you're gonna put it out there.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I see both sides of it because like I'm like, okay, well, we gotta do this right so it makes the impact, but at the same time, I'm like, this business side of it sucks. I just want to put it out there and share it with people.
How'd you guys hook up with Paul Crosby?
What's that?
How'd you guys hook up with Paul Crosby?
I gotta be honest. He reached out to us when he was kind of like starting to step back a little bit from Saliva and not wanting to tour as much. He's got family and all this other stuff, and he was still wanting to stay involved with music. He was looking to get into managing, and so he actually had connected with a few different um, DJs and different people that do interviews and things. And he said our name kept coming up, so he reached out to us. And then Mitch and I, the drummer for our band, actually had a pretty long conversation about like this has got to be this has got to be spam, right? This has got to be like a phishing thing. Like there's no way that the actual Paul Crosby is like messaging us right now. Like founding member of Saliva, Grammy award winning like drummer. Like there's no way he's reaching out to us, and it turned out to be the real guy. And it turns out he's cool as shit. So yeah, I mean, he's just been really awesome as far as like his whole goal in management is like he's like I've been there, I've done that, I've seen a lot of great things, I've seen a lot of shitty things, and I just kind of want to like share my experiences with younger bands. So it's been a real trip working with Paul.
He quit, right?
Yeah, he stepped away from Saliva. Now he's actually doing a band called Cold Wards. Um, so he's drummer for that band. I think his son plays guitar in it. So it's pretty awesome seeing him get back on the kit because I mean he really is a phenomenal drummer.
So what is it like being in the band with three brothers?
It's most days it's fine. I will say the best thing about their family is that they're very much the ones that like when they do have something to say to each other, like they'll have like a small blow up, like they'll say everything that needs to be said, and then about 10 minutes later, it's like, all right, well, where are we eating dinner? And it's like, okay, cool. Like we're just you put it out there, you express your feelings, and then we fucking move on. Like so I think it's a best case scenario in that regards.
You know how your eyes play tricks on you when you read something. I thought their name was Swagger the whole time. I was like, damn, one of these guys got a fucking wrestling name.
That would be sweet.
So we got a few shows coming up. We got what's the new single that just came out? Because I read something and you told me it was something different.
Yeah, it's called Emptiness and You. Yeah, Emptiness in You. Yeah, so we just released it a couple weeks ago. Got a video out and the single is out. The one that's currently still on the radio is actually Afterthought is still kind of living a life out on like Sirius XM and stuff like that. So it's kind of fun to see that one lingering around.
Now, people want to follow up. They want to get some tickets to the show. They want to check out these singles we discussed. Where do they go? What do they do for everything?
Yeah, so silenttheory.com is probably going to be your best single source. So there we have links to all of our music videos are right at the top of the page. And then we also have information about the tour. We have, all of the links to our social media sites. We've actually, because we're all of a certain age and are terrible at social media, we've hired somebody who helps us with our social media. So we're pretty active on there. And then you can also find us on all of the streaming platforms. So whether that's Pandora, Spotify, Amazon Music, any of that stuff, you can definitely check out our music there. And yeah, so silenttheory.com is a great place to check out all that stuff. And if you're inspired by any of the music or any of the videos that you see, there's a merch store attached to that. We always enjoy that kind of stuff because that puts gas in the tank so we can come out and meet more and more good people.
All right, man. It was a pleasure speaking with you. Hopefully, I get to catch you live one of these days, and can't wait to hear the rest of the album.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.
All right, bro. Have a good one.
You as well.